Oh, yes, man. The Indiana Fever is back in the headlines yet again. That did not take long because their exhibition game against the Brazilian national team, guess what? Is headed to national television.
ESPN never wastes primetime inventory on a preseason run-through, yet the network just cleared a national window for the Indiana Fever's May exhibition in Iowa City. A glorified scrimmage sold 15,000 seats in under 40 minutes, forcing execs to break a decades-old programming rule. If casual viewers are willing to camp in front of their screens for a game that technically doesn't count, imagine the tidal wave coming when the scores do. In the space of a breath, Caitlin Clark has turned warm-up layups into live television and ticket booths into speed-run economics. The haters might want to grab their comfort ice cream now, because the season hasn't even started and they're already behind the Avalanche.
This is the first time an exhibition game has been picked up ever in WNBA history.
What we're watching isn't hype, it's an ecosystem mutating in real time. Last spring, every network tasted the Clark effect and spent the off-season binge-ordering second helpings. This year, the Fever will appear on national TV 41 times, 41 broadcasts out of a 44-game slate. It's the most aggressive single-team exposure plan in WNBA history, leapfrogging the defending champion Aces by 8 windows and eclipsing New York's super team by 9. Corporate buyers didn't do that out of sentiment. They did it because Clark converts curiosity into Nielsen points, and Nielsen points into ad dollars at a pace the league has never seen. Every schedule reveals what executives value most, and the 2025 grid might as well be a blinking neon sign that reads, "Give us more Caitlin."
Clark off the screen, finds some space, and there's a three!
In 2024, the Fever's regular season clash with Chicago drew 2.23 million viewers on ABC, numbers that nudge NBA territory. A CBS weekend matinee hit 2.25 million. Add the playoffs and the total climbs to 54 million unique viewers across all WNBA telecasts, an increase of 170% in a single year. There hasn't been a statistical jolt like that since the league's inaugural summer. The instant feedback loop is vicious, in the best possible way. High ratings trigger more national windows. More windows feed the highlight machine. Highlights ignite social media. Social chatter turns into search trends, which finally drag the next wave of casual fans straight back to the broadcast. It's a self-propelling spiral, and Clark is the axis pinning every rotation. Yet even a glut of airtime can't satisfy curiosity when the building itself can't contain the crowd. The cameras will roll, but buildings must grow, and fast. Dallas thought it could host Indiana inside its cozy 7,000-seat pavilion until preseason inquiries exceeded the fire code by thousands. Overnight, the matchup shifted to American Airlines Center, a 20,000-seat NBA palace the Wings share for only the largest events. Chicago moved, not one, but 2. Fever clashes to the United Center. Atlanta cited a previous commitment and quietly booked State Farm Arena, home of the Hawks. Phoenix, Seattle, and Minnesota have each run the same play. Fans on X now joke that scheduling conflict is Clark's unofficial middle name, because whenever she's in town, the existing calendar miraculously rearranges itself. Those moves aren't publicity stunts, they're bottom-line necessities. In 2023, Indiana averaged 8,000 bodies per home date. Last year, with Clark inbound, the Fever ripped through 340,000 total turnstiles, up more than threefold, while league-wide attendance popped 48%. That surge generated 154 sellouts, triple the previous record. The line between logistical headache and golden opportunity blurs when every relocation drops 6 figures of new revenue. A bigger box office fuels bigger payrolls, snappier sponsorships, and arena investments. It also proves one simple equation. Interest in women's basketball was never absent. It was dormant, waiting for a catalyst. Now that spark is here, and the numbers explode whether you're ready or not. Ticket scanning apps aren't the only devices overheating. Social value auditors estimate Clark injected roughly $72 million of earned media into the league last summer, nearly double the WNBA's entire expansion fee from a decade earlier. Indiana's ownership reacted by approving a $78 million training facility slated to open before the 2026 season. The sort of bricks-and-mortar commitment that normally follows championships, not rookie campaigns. Turn back the clock just 2 seasons and the Fever sat dead last in attendance, merchandise, and primetime slots. Now they headline the slate more than any men's team in their state. The obvious question emerges: what happens when that gravitational force is removed? April's women's national title game, UConn versus South Carolina, delivered 8.5 million viewers, a massive number for the sport, yet less than half the 18.9 million who watched Iowa battle LSU the year prior. One superstar steps off the college stage, and 10 million remotes click elsewhere. ESPN's own coverage of the 2025 WNBA draft averaged 1.25 million eyes, second best in history, but still down 49% from Clark's record-shattering selection night.
And I know what the question may be, 2023. Well, Ben, just out of curiosity, because we're all curious around here, right? We all want to be well-informed. What is it compared to the 2024 draft? Well, thank you guys for asking. I appreciate that. Here we go.
Remove her, and the ratings cliff is immediate, steep, and undeniable. Those deltas aren't meant to shame other athletes. They're data points that quantify influence. They also spark fear in corners of the ecosystem, still convinced that interest must be evenly distributed to be fair. Cue the backlash. A Guardian think piece reduces Clark's rise to optics. A Midwestern whiteface, palatable to mainstream America. An ESPN panelist echoes the sentiment on BBC Radio, hinting that her fame is less about step-back threes and more about zip code demographics. USA Today scolds Fever supporters for praising their favorite star at the expense of others, as if fandom were a zero-sum pie. The narrative tries to frame her success as an uneasy intersection of privilege and promotion. Here's the problem: the numbers torch every insinuation. TV contracts respond to viewership, advertisers pay for audience, and Clark consistently supplies both. Throw shade if you must, but the market keeps voting with wallets, remotes, and share buttons. And lately, some of the loudest early skeptics have begun switching sides. Diana Taurasi, after last year's sarcastic "reality is coming" jab, looked into the camera on national television and admitted reality had indeed arrived, just not the one she predicted. Lisa Leslie called the resentments self-sabotage, urging colleagues to cash in while the cash is hot. Cheryl Miller issued a live mic challenge to critics. Explain how more eyeballs is bad money. Meanwhile, battle-tested veterans are flocking to Indiana. Two-time champion Sydney Colson took a bargain deal to join the Fever purely for a front-row seat to the phenomenon. Three-point sniper Sophie Cunningham did the same. Finals MVPs DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard lingered in trade rumors all winter, each signaling willingness to relocate for a chance to orbit Planet Clark. The locker room notices. So does the wider sports galaxy. 61 million subscriber juggernaut Dude Perfect teased a Hinkle-Heave challenge with Clark and harvested 2 million views in the first 12 hours. Nike is rumored to have a signature shoe prototype already in the wear test phase, a timeline normally reserved for Olympians and NBA megastars. Hollywood production firms are optioning documentary rights. An international streaming giant quietly ordered a scripted miniseries treatment. Sports marketing executives eye the 2028 media rights negotiation and whisper that Clark's presence might double the ask before she turns 30. She hasn't dribbled a WNBA playoff ball this year, yet the ripple effects already reach Tokyo sneaker factories and Silicon Valley boardrooms, which raises the final, inevitable question. A preseason friendly hijacked national scheduling. 41 regular season broadcasts turned a middle-of-the-pack franchise into appointment viewing. Opponents are sprinting toward NBA arenas. Ticket brokers can't refresh inventory fast enough, and social value calculators may need new columns. We're not witnessing the future of women's basketball. We're standing in its present, watching dollars, storylines, and skeptics reorder themselves around one 24-year-old point guard. So buy a seat, buy the merch, or buy another pint of comfort ice cream, because the ride isn't looming on the horizon anymore. The Caitlin Clark era is already roaring past, and the only real question left is whether you plan to chase it or watch it pull away.